Oh, hello there. I hope everybody's doing well. Welcome to StatCheck episode 112. I'm Innes. I'm joined by Nathan and Anthony. This is a new challenger approaches, and that challenger may approach at some point. We will find out as the show goes. We are slightly delayed as we were expecting a guest this week who has not materialized. Our point of contact with the said guest was Jeremy, who is, as you can tell, not here today. So we are currently figuring it out. It is not me being terrible with technology, as people in the chat are suggesting, which is fair enough. I hope everybody's doing well. I played a tournament this weekend, so did Anthony. We're going to talk about it a bit. We're going to do the standard stuff. We're going to talk about questions. We're going to talk about the metagame. Coventry just happened, and was won by what we all expected. It was literally 1, 2, 3 of the three best armies in the game, which I think is pretty representative for my taste. So it's nice to be right sometimes. But before we get into that, Nathan, Anthony, how you doing? Nathan, you weren't here last week. Do you want to kick us off?
Sure. I'm doing great. I am finally almost successfully selling out. We'll find out if that worked out or not in like a couple weeks. Maybe I won't be a postdoc anymore. That would be amazing. Woo! That would be so cool.
Where are you looking? What zone? What area of the world?
Right now, I got interviewed for a fully remote role, so I can do it from anywhere on the planet.
Oh my goodness!
No,
let's go.
No.
So I'm here in Edinburgh.
Sure, I'll spend a week anywhere, basically.
Massive quality of life, Nathan gains. Let's go, baby.
Technically, the role requires me to stay within the continental United States.
Sure, but you can vacation wherever you fucking please, I assume.
Truth. The federal government is very generous sometimes.
Yeah.
We'll find out how that works out.
Let's go.
I got a tattoo to complete my bet with Jeremy for who would do better at WTC's tournament, which was very clearly Jeremy going to win it after the first day, where I was like, man, I've lost every game. This is great. And then I decided to quit.
Yeah, well.
And look at Mechlin instead. So I do have that tattoo, which is on this arm, which is a loon. I don't know what direction to lean anymore, which is Jeremy's state bird. Tattoo. Look, if I'm going to get it inked, I might as well have it be nice. Look, it's permanently on my body.
I get it. I understand. I have a left thigh full of well-done joke tattoos.
Me and Jeremy made a loon bet. I was like, I know this artist who does good birds. We'll have them do the bird and then be done with it. Explaining how this tattoo was for losing a bet was very funny, and trying to explain why. Yeah. Other than that, I've been playing 40K, and I've been starting to hobby back up 40K. It's strange how getting some interviews and having some success in a job search makes you so much happier and makes hobbies so much more fun to do. It's wild nonsense.
It's almost like the deterministic factor into someone's personal enjoyment is whether or not they have to worry about starving to death. Anyway.
Correct. Also, on that note, make sure if you live in the United States to go vote next Tuesday.
Unrelated, not a political show.
Or beforehand. Just as a thing you should do, not if we're assaulted by constant political mumbo jumbo, but you should make a plan to vote before next Tuesday, please.
Yep.
That is all. Yeah, so I'm having a great time. I'm really excited to potentially start a new role, which maybe at some point I'll talk to people about, but probably not, depending on what it is.
I mean,
keep it secret, keep it safe.
Yeah. There's like a point where somebody might be mad about the win rate on Drukhari, and they might send a weird hate message to my boss or something like that, who will not understand why they're so mad about Ravagers having a 10-point increase and why it's
falsifying public mathematics.
Public mathematics. They're not even fully public. They're kind of
That's true.
Public.
Yeah. We actually just make them up every week.
Yeah,
I actually do.
Yeah, says whatever we want it to be.
Yeah.
I don't know. I did get messages from people who were real mad about my fake podcast ELO thing that I did on Grim After Dark once, where I literally made up numbers.
Yeah.
And they were
didn't
real
Josh
mad
lose
about
to
it.
Drukhari round 8 at Coventry? They're definitely getting there.
Surely not.
Yeah,
Josh had 2 losses at that event.
He lost round 7 and 8.
To Drukhari?
From what I understand, he went first in Purge the Foe against 18 Grotesques and 6 Talos.
I don't care.
I know, me neither, but it was quite funny.
I like how we've gone full circle, though, to Talos potentially being good again. That's kind of a funny full circle.
When Brian and I were in the taxi to the airport in Poznan, he was definitely reading Dan Whitaker's list and was like, I just killed this, right? And I was like, yeah, 100%.
But that's it for me. Everything's great at the moment. And 10 out of 10 would do life except for political anxiety about the future of our lives in the United States.
Yeah, whatever, dude. We can always just move. We're all, privileged folks. Is it what?
It's now your turn.
Oh, it's my turn. My weekend was interesting. I played Deceptors for a 5-round tournament, which is not a sentence I would have expected to say.
Well, first of all, you played singles. That's already crazy. Then you played Deceptors in the
I have
singles.
so much singles. I have a tournament like a week and some change playing singles in December. Fucking singles again. Ugh, terrible. Anyway, yeah, I played Deceptors for an event. I dragged 7 of my friends to this event in Philly. So we all got an Airbnb. Honestly, the Airbnb like setup, vibe, all the event stuff was immaculate. I got to recreate some of that like Euro event magic by doing it that way. So that was great. The TO that ran the event was stellar. Jason did an excellent job. He took a bunch of feedback before the events. He was really consistent about getting rulings done, helping people out with model trouble. Like, he was on it.
He didn't make Supply drop the final.
He didn't make Supply drop the final. He just made it round 2. And then a bunch of people at the end of the event who are cowards were like, no Supply drop next time, please. Those people are cowards. Unrelated, I went first in Supply drop and had 4 sticky objectives to start the game, and I don't know why everyone else was complaining. Anyway, so back to my bad detachment. What I learned this weekend is that Deceptors is probably the 3rd best CSM detachment. I earnestly think it is better than Pact Bound. If you are going to take a detachment with a inconsistent rule that is not always going to be good, but when it's good, it's fucked up, you should take the one that denies an enemy their first and second movement phase. I went first against Orcs in Corners, and that was some of the most fucked up gaming I've had. Because they just literally do not get a first turn movement phase, and the first thing that does move, you overwatch and then reactive move the cultists, and it's a nightmare. The whole thing is bad. So yeah, Deceptors have a whole bunch of good stratagems in them. They are easily slept on. They are not the most exciting thing in the world to play. They're pretty dynamic, to borrow from Games Workshop. You get to do a lot of stuff, maybe, in your opponent's turn, which is something. But they definitely can be a little bit frustrating. It's very worth it to take Forge Fiends in this detachment, which is uncommon in the current era, but they are really, really, really good in that detachment with 1 CP.
Full rerolls is good, yes.
Yeah, well, the setup usually is that you have a Vindicator and a Forge Fiend, perhaps 2 Vindicators in the castle with Abaddon, and then you have a Forge Fiend that comes off a board edge, and if you set up the Forge Fiend for success, i.e. do literally any damage at all to the thing he's shooting at, you get to reroll outside of your castle, which is huge for efficiency. It also makes them do something rather than nothing. So yeah, I played a bunch of really cool opponents. My poor 4th round opponent played 30 Terminators, and I could not think of a harder counter to his list than what I was playing if I tried. It was 30 Grey Knight Terminators. He was just like, what the fuck? So yeah, that was pretty funny. And then on the last round, I got absolutely execution style laid out by Mike Butler playing Triple Exorcist Bringers of Flame. And the first activation of the first Exorcist in the game killed my Vindicator from full. And I was like, oh, that's not good. And it did not get better from there. I managed to drag it close with some clever bike positioning and just ramming stuff in movement lanes to stop him from stopping me. And I lost by 11 or 9 or something like that. So, whatever. Pretty good run.
So what was the record then, Anthony, at the end?
I drew my first game against a list that I wrote because I played one of my boys in round 1, and I wrote him a Raiders, a Renegade Raiders list with the Bile Brick and 2 AC/DC bricks, and then I went to play against it, and I was like, this is fucking annoying to play against. So we drew, which was wild, because on the last turn, he didn't cleanse with Cypher to shoot at a 3-wound Forge Fiend, which gave him kill more for the draw. And I was like, fucking fair enough. All right, whatever. So shout out to Charles. Good job. You played really well in that game, but also that meant I started the event with a draw, which made the rest of the event kind of a mess. Because it was like a win path paired event, and now it was just like wee. So that was kind of a mess. Fun fact: draws don't fuck up your win path, so you get to just carry on in the top bracket, kinda.
You're always going to be at the bottom of it, but you get to be in it. Yeah.
That's true. So yeah, that was pretty much it. Draw to start, 3 wins, loss at the end, and that was the Deceptors sprint.
Nice.
Just running it straight down mid, mate.
Basically, like literally setting up 20 cultists in the mid and running them down that.
Can you
good.
solve?
What did you think of the list
solve
afterwards? Any changes you would make to it? Any feedback you give to any aspiring Deceptors?
Just like kind of don't jank too much. I know that that's like a, we're talking about 2 different things here. Like you're playing Deceptors because you're probably trying to jank a bit, but like that army was legitimately good as it was played. I don't think there's anything else I would change. That one Legio squad was kind of useless, but there's nothing really else to turn him into. There's probably a world where like you shuffle something around to get them also to have a lord, maybe, or you like fuck around with some other stuff. I don't know. I never used detonator. I just saw that. I never used detonator, which was sad. I had a decent spot for it in the orc game, and then I was like, oh, I don't want to give him a Kareen, and then my opponent just didn't say anything, and then I like kept moving, and I was like, I got to like the fight phase or whatever, and I was like, oh, you're bully boys. That doesn't even, god damn it. So whatever, but it was fine.
See, the real Deceptor's way would be to know that he had just out-decepted you, and that
he did. I acknowledged it. I was like, all right, yeah, fair enough. You got me.
People asking you, people are like, oh, I'm not going to shoot this. You could armor contempt, and you're like, sure, dude.
Good. I won't because it'd be illegal, but I could. Yeah. I can't think of anything else that I like thought of that was like super crazy.
Most disappointing Abaddon activation?
I mean, he, like a lot of the games, he just kind of took over with the Chosen Squad. That whole setup is expensive as shit, but very good. I think, honest to God, his worst activation, and this is going to sound like just complaining, is that he only killed like 4 or 5 paladins out of a unit when I swung at one of those. Oh no!
Yeah.
Oh, half of them.
I've had Abaddon bounce off of the most ridiculous things. He just does it sometimes.
Oh no, I don't do that. Not when he lives in Rerolls Aura and is attached to Chosen, so he has an icon. Like he's not going to do that.
A 9 of Nurglings kept him there for 2 turns once. I was not having fun.
That's crazy. Yeah, I had his like Chosen unit run into the middle, shoot a squad of Seraphim to death, like grenade and then charge and take down an Exorcist and an Immolator at the same time. Like just gassing it. So
Respect.
Yeah, shit was pretty good. Again, that exact unit, very good. Basically any way to get rerolls into Chosen, quite strong. So I'll probably be playing CSM again for my December GT that I'm going to, because our boy Jim is going to be playing the Blood Angels. So I won't have them for that, so I'll probably be back and forth between some like Vets of the Long War and Renegade Raiders.
Obviously, you use your card on the table, right, Anthony? You love that army.
No, I love that army dearly, and it is absolute garbage, and that's why I'm not playing it.
Innes has to throw in one more Drakari jab before talking about his weekend.
I want them to be good so bad. It causes me such agony that they suck this much.
As myself, I went to a little RTT. I let the Discord vote from a list of armies of what I would play. They decided that I was going to play the Lion and Dreadnoughts, so I played the Lion, 3 Ballistic Dreadnoughts, 3 Redemptor Dreadnoughts, an Infiltrator squad with the Load Up Librarian, because I thought it'd be funny, and I knew my friend was bringing GSC, and I just wanted to see how much it would hurt him if I did that. I had 2 JPI squads, and then like Azrael in a squad of 3 Inner Circle companions in it, and that was basically it. And I did Dark Shroud, which never came out because I played against 3 people that did not shoot me, and the one person that did shoot me had Mortarion. I played 3 games with it. Played against Death Guard, War Horde, and Biosank deck. I got to put down my boys in the last game as the Lion just walked through an army. The Lion took 7 damage all weekend. He was a hero. I think I lost 4 Dreadnoughts total. Could not score above 80 points to save my fucking life.
Hell yeah, dude.
Just like walking forward, like no damage, but also no secondaries. Just sitting on like, yeah, I got 45 primary because the lion was on an objective for the entire game. Drew 2 cards on turn 1, I couldn't score, and then I did the same thing on turn 3. I'm just sitting there with like containment, my entire army's in the midfield. I'm like, pass on this one this turn. Yeah, very, very, very fun. The lion is genuinely hilarious when he goes off. His shooting is utterly trash. It's very funny. He has about the same level of shooting as Angron, which is disrespectful to Angron more than it is to the lion. Yeah, he just kind of walked forward, did his 4 damage thing, picking up vehicles left and right with AP4. AP4 is a messed up number in this edition where no one has any AP.
Yeah. Yeah. AP4 is like way the fuck up there. That the Lord that I ran had the Cursed Fang, which is again another like, it's real easy to cruise past the Deceptor's enhancement. That one's pretty good. It's +1 AP and always on precision for 10 points. Very nice.
That's pretty good.
Yes, very solid. Yeah, and Azrael being the same, right? Just a decent amount of AP4 in those between that and the Redemptors. Yeah. I played it as Firestorm. Almost exclusively because I knew the lion was going to get stuck in combat, and I wanted the +1 to wounds to still be on when he was like in an ongoing combat, and rather than Lance.
Just
no, dude, I'm sticking with that. I'm sticking with that as the story.
You just felt,
nope.
And then you
I'm sticking with that as the story.
But you
can't take it away. Nope. No.
Okay.
Ongoing combat, dude. I didn't want to risk desperate escaping with a lion. Too risky.
But you
none of that.
All right.
It was also quite nice getting the Ballistic Dreadnoughts up to strength 13 on their last cannons and 11 on their missiles. It definitely felt like Bringers of Lame. Not Bringers of Flame. Bringers of Lame.
Bringers of Lame. Just hurting vehicles real good, not quite killing them, just getting close.
Yeah, I played the Ballistics and required your opponent to be at starting strength for their rerolls for the first 2 games, which because it had been a while and I refused to read the data sheet. Got midway through game 3 and I was like, above half. Okay, this is a lot better.
Damn it. Yeah. That's okay.
They got a lot better midway through game 3 when I realized that.
Dude, I had a similar game 3 blunder actually that I forgot about till just now. I forgot that the +1 to charge for each other charge strat existed until game 3. So it was like the whole reason to play the detachment. I entirely forgot. Yeah, I was busy gunlining people.
There are 4 other stratagems. So there's Armoric Attempt, there's the +1 to wound strat, and then 3 transport-based stratagems and 1 stratagem for torrent weapons, of which I had none of any of those 4 things. So I was really just like, I got Overwatch, I got CP reroll, grenade, and this +1 to wound one, and that'll be fine. And you know what? It was.
Oh boy. Fuck.
All right.
Do recommend Firestorm. Ballistic Dreadnoughts are genuinely pretty good. I did enjoy them.
How much are they now?
They're 130.
I was gonna say, I keep seeing them everywhere.
They are.
They're
every
like
single Space Marine.
Yeah, they're too expensive to take in a punch army, or they're not good enough to take in a punch army, but they are great at filling out a like good stuff army.
Yes, exactly. I really like the
BA as an example.
Yeah. Like Dark Angel's Gladius with triple ballistas seems pretty reasonable, like stuff like that. You wouldn't run them like you kind of need something to make them go over the line, like access to Dev Doctrine or Assault Advanced Troops in somewhere. You're not spending CP on them in goddamn Blood Angels, so they don't really make the cut there. But if you're playing a detachment that like has something for them to do, Ironstorm loves them because the 4 last cannon shots or 4 d6 damage shots, like loves the free reroll. Like ballistas feel pretty good in those reigns. And I would give the lion a solid 5 out of 10. He's definitely a data sheet now. You can play him and only be kind of upset about how bad he is.
Dude, I honest to God think you should give him a run out in Ironstorm just to see.
Dude, giving him the 1 wound reroll would significantly increase his damage from like awful to occasionally working. The number of times he was just like 2 1s to hit, 3 1s to wound, and I'm just like, God damn it, line. Yes, you still killed the tank, but if it had an invulnerable save.
Yeah, but also it keeps all your Reaper boys safe from haywire.
It does, yeah. I actually spent most of the tournament in All Secrets Revealed, just so no one would grenade him. Just like, stay away.
You could just...
No, it's funnier this way. No, it was like it shuts down grenade and also other stuff. I was playing against so specifically the reason why is I was playing against like leadership 7 armies like War Horde and Gene Circle, where I could stop the grenade that and then also contribute by like not getting +1 to wounded by aberrants and things like that, right? Like so it did more than just the grenade stop.
I get it,
but it was very fun. It was also occasionally nice to get the CP before my turn came around, before Azrael kicked in, because I could get it during their turn by having all secrets reveal go off, which is negligible but existed.
I just I had it on to stop the grenades.
Yeah, I was trying
to. The alternative being a 4-up mortal wound defense.
Absolutely. I was absolutely trying to hurt you when I said that. I need you to know that.
Yeah,
I did watch the psychic damage in real time.
The pain was the point.
I was just confused. I wasn't even damning. I was just like, what?
Yeah, I was really like, I'm gonna be like, I'm +1 to hit, so my redemptors will hit on 2s. I was like, it's still not gonna make them do any fucking damage in combat. Let's not bother. Never known a data sheet to miss so many times on 3s and 2s.
I will tell you, being on the receiving end of that Redemptor plasma cannon is really unpleasant when you're toughness 6 or less infantry.
When the Redemptor just is like, by the way, 6 shots, that's 8. You're just like, I'm off. This is gonna go really badly. Like that plasma cannon it's 2 shots less than the main gun of a Knight Castellan. Like, dude, the Knight Castellan has the same gun. It's just D6 plus 3 shots.
Yeah, that thing fucking hurts, dude. Like,
yeah. I genuinely quite like the six dreads. Like, I feel like if I had done like 2 dread, like 2 ballistas, 2 Redemptor, 2 Vindicator, I'd have had a really good time with it. And then like play it in Gladius or Ironstorm. Yep. It seems pretty reasonable. And then probably don't play Azrael and Inner Circle Companions. Play like 2 more scoring units, and I think it'd have been pretty decent actually. I know Colin K played 3 Warwind, Lion, and then like 2 Inner Circles companion bricks for a GT like 5-1 last weekend. So like the line is clearly decent now, which is nice. It's nice to have him do some stuff.
He's okay.
He is 285 points of I'm not complaining.
Yeah. The cause of my Deceptor problem is here.
It'd be really nice if he had, could he just have his -1 to wound and his damage to sweep back? It'd be so nice. He could go up points again. Like,
I think it's honestly better that he's cheap.
I would like the -1 to wound back, but
yeah.
Anyway, that's it. He also does mortal wounds on bounce back in combat. That never came up. No one was attacking him. It would have been very funny if that Grot Squad had activated.
Well, unlike the 6 or whatever, if you roll a
6 on a 6 in combat, he bounces a mortal wound back. I was a little worried when I piled with the Plague Marine squad that he was going to do too many damage to me, and I would bounce too many wounds back, and he would disengage himself from combat. But thankfully, I didn't bounce any 6s. It would have been really annoying if that had happened. Yeah. I was only basing 1 guy. I would have only had to roll 2 6s to kill him out. So
that's fair.
Yeah, that's my Deceptors. There, Nathan. Let's go onto the stats. That's what everybody's waiting for. We are 2 weeks into the meta game now. We have a bunch of tournaments, and Nassim has won something for the first time ever. Woo! Like, clearly the sky is falling.
So I have
a model in his memory. So
I have stats, and then I'll show everybody the upgraded data dashboard so they can understand toggles that they can use. All right. This last week, most of the events were now basically using the data slate. So we're just going to review this last week because the week prior was kind of a mishmash of whether people were using points or were using rules. So instead, we're going to talk about just some bullshit. The number 1 faction for the weekend was Gene Stealer Cults, sorted by win rate, with 24 players, the most Gene Stealer Cults players that have ever existed in any time on the planet.
That doesn't sound right. There was an index. We are all still bearing scars.
2.5% of the meta, a 59.2% win rate. They won an event. They were 2 top 4s, 7 top 10s, and a 1.02 for overrep. So perfectly balanced. Everything's fine. Just ignore the win rate. You're muted, Anthony.
That overrep curves it out at the end, but the rest of that didn't sound good.
It didn't sound great at the beginning, but it did pick up in the second half, I promise.
Yeah.
In second place, we have Leagues of Votan at 25 players, 2.6% of the meta, 2 event wins, 4 top 4s, 7 top 10s, and a 1.96. Third is Thousand Suns, apparently not nerfed enough to drop them out of the top 5. 26 players, 2.7% of the meta, a 58.1% win rate, a single event win, 6 top 4s, 9 top 10s, and a 2.82 for overrep. Then we have Chaos Demons, 31 players, 3.2% of the meta, 57.9% win rate, 5 top 4s, 11 top 10s, and a 1.97 for overrep. And then for a second, I did a double take earlier, and I was like, did I pull up like an old spreadsheet from 9th edition? Because in 5th place, we have Necrons, 69 players, 7.1% of the meta, a 56.3% win rate, 4 event wins, the most of any faction for the weekend, 11 top 4s, 22 top 10s, and a 1.95 for overrep for Necrons.
God, I fucking hate Hypercrypt.
Yeah, that army is not super enjoyable to play against.
Or with is the problem.
Oh no, I have a lot of fun when I play Hypercrypt. I was just gonna not, shame others for not enjoying being on the receiving end.
And then on the bottom, on the bottom, we have Space Marines, just generic Codex Space Marines. 39 players, 4% of the meta, a 39% win rate, lone top 4, 3 top 10s, and a 0.31 for overrep. Above them are Black Templars, who had 23 players, 2.4% of the meta, a 39.8% win rate, but they won 2 events, top 4 2 events, those same events that they won, and then had 5 top 10s for 1.06 for overrep. So
I love that Black Templars are the guard of Space Marines.
Yeah, people just can't figure it out. I don't know.
Just like 4 dudes playing Iron Storm having the best time of their life, and then a bunch of people still playing Primaris Crusaders.
It's 3 dudes with brass nameplates on their units, and then 1 dude doing well. It's okay. Then we have Adeptus Mechanicus. 15 players, 1.5% of the meta, a 43.2% win rate, and no placements to speak of.
You know what? Actually deserved.
Yeah. And then Imperial Agents are 4th from the bottom with 6 players. I'm going to count them anyways because I think it's funny. 44.4% win rate and a single top 10. So they also have a 0 for overrep.
Woo, let's go.
And then in 5th place from the bottom is World Eaters. 48 players, a 4.9% participation, 44.7% win rate, 3 top 4s, 5 top 10s, and a 0.76 for overrep.
Yeah. At the risk of harm to my own personal amount of coaching that I do, my earnest suggestion, if you want to play World Eaters and do well in singles right now, would be to wait until January. It is just a goddamn disaster out there in singles right now for World Eaters.
The meta is not fun for the army.
Could not think of a worse meta to play in than like Sisters picking up Exos, Guards getting Aquilons, a new Blood Angel book, Thousand Suns staying where they are. It's just like, okay, I guess.
Yeah, also, GSC have your Angro mechanic, but better. And...
yeah, on everybody. I'm confident I could beat Biosanctic if they only get 5 Aberrant units. Past that, I don't think so. I'm definitely not beating Outlander Claw. I'd like to be clear.
Outlander Claw's just like, so they're all sticky. Do you want to stand on them now?
I'll go get you and
no.
get burned to death. Yeah, it's bad. I don't want any part of that matchup.
The other event winners aren't going to surprise a terrible lot of people. Maybe one of them will. Astra Militarum won 3 events, including the largest one of the weekend, right?
Shock. Oh, no way.
They otherwise have a 46.3% win rate. They also had 69 players,
What?
7 top 4s, 13 top 10s, and a 1.24 for overrep.
Okay, fine. They were above average on overrep. That's whatever.
Sure.
Goddamn
Slightly.
guard players.
Good lord, dude.
Tyranids won 2 events, had 7 top 4s and 13 top 10s with a 49.2% win rate. Space Wolves won 2 events with 25 players, a 50.7% win rate, and a 1.47 for overrep. Custodes won an event. Look at them Custodes go. They won with Dread Talons. A 51.1.
It can't
Talons
be
of the Emperor. Talons of the Emperor.
Okay.
Yeah, Custodes can play Dread Talons. They probably be all right.
A 51
freaking Benatari. Let's go.
a 51.1% win rate, so above 50. 2 top 4s, 6 top 10s, and a 0.72 for overrep.
I stand by. Custodies are fine. People just stop playing them.
I agree. Do not change them, please.
They're better than Drakari.
Just leave them alone. Do not buff them. Terrible things happen every time that happens. Just leave them the fuck alone.
For truth.
What do you think, Anthony? Drakari or Custodies better?
Custodies, not even close. Custodies, if they could put one shot from the Caladius big gun into a separate Drukhari transport, would kill 3 of them.
It's reasonable. All right. And then the other event winners are Chaos Space Marines, who won a single event. They had 3 top 4s, 13 top 10s, and a 52.4% win rate. Only a 0.64 overrep, but that's because they had 57 players and made up almost 6% of the meta.
Sure.
And then Sisters won an event. Had 4 top 4s, 8 top 10s, and a 1.4 for overrep. Their meta representation has dropped a little bit from where it was to just 3.6%. And they have a 52.9% win rate. So
good still.
It seems like Sisters are probably fine post nerf. I think people will figure out their lives and be okay.
Do you remember the Codex points for that book?
No. Stop it. We're not going down this road. I have enough reasons to be sad right now.
Do you mean when Penitent Host was the best attachment in that book for like a brief
even the
moment?
best then.
I know. There's a brief moment where everybody was like, "Man, I could kill so many people by reaching across
like
130." It's something like that. Yes, it was real cheap, just way too cheap. And then I promised everybody that I was going to show them the metadata dashboard because Cliff upgraded it. Meanwhile, there it is. Okay. Cliff upgraded the meta dashboard. So now it has a default dark mode.
Oh man, we just need to apply that to the rest of the website now. It looks so weird with it.
I know it does. We've already been talking about how we need to update the rest of the website to also be essentially dark mode to match. So we'll work on that next.
Colors on it. It's fine, right?
Yeah, it's true. It's fine. Everything's fine. But it's been updated as of today. So if folks want to look at it, you can go up into this corner where you can see this meta bit, and you don't click this preamble to NASA's first real one, and then you just click on 1.2, the Q4 balance update, and that will sort you. Existed. And that will sort you into just all the events that used rules and points for the quarter 4 balance patch. Otherwise, if you click 1.1, it's like the weird interstice where there was a bunch of weird shit going on where people were using kind of inconsistent rules. Basically just 1 week. And then 1.1 is just post Codex Imperial Agents. So yeah. Otherwise, there's nothing like too strange here. Gene Stealer Colts are at the top. Whoa, which is refreshed. Gene Stealer Colts are at the top, followed by Leagues, which we just talked about. And at the bottom, we have Black Templar, Space Marines, and Adeptus Mechanicus. Although I think this might be slightly different, and I'll take a look at that later.
I'm so fucking proud of GSC players, dude.
Yeah, I mean, let's look at this a little closer. We're already here. We might as well just take a peek at it. Oh, wow, look at the Xeno Creed congregation.
That is one dude having the time of his life.
One dude having won 83% of his games. It looks like Host of Ascension for the most part, and then Biosantic, Brood Surge.
Yeah, Outlander Claw underplayed. Outlander Claw clearly needs buffs and nerf the other ones.
There you go. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm playing Biosantic again this weekend for my team event, so
nice. That'll be fun.
Yeah, I like it. My list is called Stop Hammer Sign, so
that's good.
And then Adeptus Custodes is only two of their detachments: Shield Host, which has a 49% win rate, and Talons, which has a 47% win rate, because apparently there are quite a few people playing Talons at the moment.
All of the forward home event starts.
Yep.
Yeah. I think Talons is probably the better one on aggregate right now, but the react move strat is messed up on Custodes units.
Yeah, you always get kind of caught off guard by it as well. You always kind of forget.
You shouldn't be allowed to react move a Caladius, frankly. Just like, why? Why is that a thing that's happening to me right now? Stop it.
That's fine. Whatever.
Look,
it's fine until it's not.
Yeah.
And yes, to answer Luke's question. I believe it only includes if they use new rules and points, from my understanding, but I will double check.
And to answer the person who asked earlier as well, it does not include team events. We don't track team events because they are not representative of the singles game. There is too much information, too much stuff with pairings and table choice and things like that. That means that it's impossible to tell what is representative for singles, so we don't include it.
Yep. The other thing is that, like, a lot of the teams pages don't report their stats in a way that is very helpful. So, like, some of them don't report scores in ways that are interpretable. So you just never know. And yeah, mostly at that point, like, because of what Ines said, a lot of the stats just aren't helpful for you if you don't know, like, is this a first defender or something like that, right? So, yep. You can see Cliff's face on the website.
You could see Cliff's face on episodes of X and One. You could see Cliff's face from his
on
Discord avatar for a while. Like,
yeah. If you go to the first page, in fact, I will show it to you. I'll show you where you can find.
Make them go to the site. Inspire.
No,
clicks.
we should show off how beautiful Cliff is.
All right, we're gonna do it. We're gonna show off how beautiful Cliff is for a second. It was a pretty quiet week, and we'll do the hot takes in a second. So, because I'm going to help you out with this one,
you should slowly go to the website. Click the part.
All right.
Go to the website, accidentally click on Tim's picture, open up your wizard picture.
Here we go.
This is how you get to stat check.
Stat-check.
You can't see your bar.
Oh,
so
that's probably
just
for
not
the best.
That's probably for the best. Let's not.
We don't want to get 18 bread recipes again.
Yeah, that's not what we want. All right, so this is where you start on the home page when you go to www.check.com. It'll show you that we stream live at 6 p.m. EDT every Tuesday. Yeah. And then if you scroll down just a little bit, you'll see our little mission statement, and then you'll see our team. And then right here,
wow, that's not been updated in a while. We have
you'll see pictures of a lot of us, but not all of us because we haven't updated this in a while.
Nathan's is so good. It gets me every time.
So you have a picture of Anthony. There's Cliff right there. There's Ines. There's me at my PhD graduation.
No, you're pondering the orbs, dude.
Who structured this to have Tim and Typhus looking at each other? They look like old lovers in that picture.
I mean,
yeah, that's like Tim at his wedding looking back at Typhus from as he goes off with his new. Jeremy is officiating, obviously, the wedding at this.
Yeah,
obviously. So yeah, that's where you can find pictures of a lot of us, not all of us. We also had a blog at one point, but it hasn't been updated since November 22nd. It hasn't been updated
since we realized we could just make videos instead.
Right? Videos are powerful. The articles on there, though, pretty good.
But yeah, this is reminding me.
Read all of them.
You should. You should go read our articles because some of them are quite good. You should also go click on this coaching link and request coaching.
We have 5 new people we need to add to this.
Yeah, we should probably get.
We do
6 people.
We have a bunch of new people that we need to add.
We have the 3 Ticklecomers guys: Nathan, Pumbaa, and Steve Joel.
Details.
Well, it's fine. We just have some of the best minds in 40K available that aren't advertised on our website at all.
Whatever.
Should have had an ownership stake, bitches, if you want to be on the website.
Yeah, way to not be part of the team or something.
Yeah, people have started to notice that we do, in fact, all have a random gamut of photos, as it were.
Yeah.
Only Cliff's is actually a good profile picture. The rest of us are just doing nonsense. It's funny because this was very easy to access information, and we just
none of this was remotely hidden. Cliff has been on this show before.
Yeah,
it's okay.
We've had a whole math episode with Cliff on it.
God.
So that's the stats for the week. Nothing has really kind of fully risen from.
It was nice seeing Coventry just be 1 guard, 2 sisters, 3 GSC. Just straight 1 through 3 in order, as far as I'm concerned, for power level of armies right now.
Yeah.
And then 4th was Drukhari, but we don't talk about that.
What kind of Drukhari, though? Who was playing that Drukhari?
It was Dan Whitaker on Real Space Raid with 18 grotesques and 6 Talos, I'm pretty sure.
That's so many grotesques and so many Talos.
There are some armies that do not love -1 to wound anythings.
And that's fair.
He played one of my a friend of mine at LGT with the army and just like ran through his sister's army with it. Just like, yeah, I built this to kill sisters. Well,
also,
we are
in the timeliest of fashions. We have our challenger approach, which is great because we can just drag Kicker on in just a second.
Well, you can do that right as I leave because I got stuff to go do
right now.
All right,
bye, boys.
Anthony.
Oh, all right, Nathan. You know what you're doing here, I think.
Hi, Kicker.
Sorry, I'm hungry.
Okay. Are you eating cereal?
No, I'm eating homemade stir fry, but I put way too much spicy shit in it, so my nose is on fire. So, yeah, I apologize. Totally professional there. I've never used this software before, so I don't know if I'm sounding okay or not.
You sound perfect, Kicker. Thank you for
all right,
joining
cool.
us.
Great.
No, thank you, dude. I'll try not to eat once we start recording, of course. Or
we're already recording. We are currently live. We're joining 45 minutes into the show, Kicker.
We have, in fact, added you live onto our show just without any background check whatsoever.
Oh, perfect. Yeah, let's just live by the seat of our pants. This is great.
Exactly.
Well, I apologize for eating on camera.
That's okay, Kicker. I think you're doing just fine.
I'm just doing just fine. Great.
If people are going to be fussy about stat check at this point in our life, like, come on, what are they?
Anyway, everything we do is a little bit messed up, just a little scuffed, so it's okay.
No.
All right, Nathan, you know more about why Kicker's here than I do because I've not been paying attention to the backstage, so go for it.
Oh, excellent. We're going to do this. So, Kicker, we wanted to bring you on, and you wanted to come on so that we could talk about a new event that you are running now that you have parted ways with Frontline Gaming, and now you're running a Teams event.
Yeah, dude. Yeah.
Why don't you talk to us a little bit about this event and kind of where it's situated and what it's about?
Okay, well, first of all, dude, I mean, like, I like to get all the credit here, but it's not just me. It's really this whole community that's come together, and like, it's getting me goosebumps when you think about it. Like, the community came together to make this thing really happen. Like, we had FLG's backing with the Challengers Cup, with the Champions Cup, but now they're not with FLG. We're kind of free to do a lot of different things that are pretty cool. One of the things that, I don't know, Innes was there. The post-event comments was interesting. One of the biggest issues was the terrain, specifically the FLG terrain. So, by being kind of an independent operator and working with the community, like, we're able to do whatever they really want, which seems like to be WTC format as well as the GW format. But yeah, we're just totally doing this kind of with different partners. You guys are being one of them, which is awesome, and we're honored to have you guys. But we've got, of course, the Art of War boys. We have the team from one of the teams from Texas heard that we're doing this, and they're like, here, let's support you. And I probably shouldn't say this, but they're helping to donate some of the funds because venue spaces are expensive, people. So it's really cool to see community coming together and making this thing happen. Truly for the community, by the community. But yeah, well, you got questions, I got answers. Go for it, man. By the way, I hope you don't mind. I put Conductor of War as my headline.
Whatever you want. We don't really filter this stuff.
Okay. As long as it's not going to get us canceled, it's okay. Put it in your subtitle.
All right. Good.
So this is going to be another Teams event similar to Champions Cup, now Challengers Cup.
Yeah.
Correct.
Yeah. So we want to be totally independent of FLG to, cover our butts and stuff. And it's kind of crazy. I was not like, I know you guys on StatCheck are big fans of the team format. I don't know shit about team format, right? Corrales and I were speaking like almost a year and a half, 2 years ago now at this point. He's like, I'm like, hey, how can we do better? I was running FLG events at the time. It's like, how can we do better? And he's like, well, man, you guys are doing a lot of things wrong, but why don't you try this? And, a lot of people don't take feedback very well, but I really pride myself on, like, especially negative feedback. Like, I want that negative feedback. That really helps me get better. And he's like, just, you're SoCal needs to change. You guys should really try this format, this 8-person format. And he kind of sold it to me. I'm like, okay, let's give it a shot. And it really was successful. And, now looking at Challengers Cup, this thing was live for 11 days. Okay, first of all, we fired off the entire event in 5 days. Like, we created a website, created a whole thing in 5 days. And then 11 days after launch, it sold out. We've got, a team from Mexico, 3 teams from Canada. We got a team from Singapore. Of course, Mr. Innes Wilson himself coming from Scotland. Maybe we'll get some of the Polish guys. I don't know. But it's like crazy.
We're going to bully them into coming over for sure.
Good. I'll buy them food, although the food in Utah does suck. So I'm not promising much by buying them dinner here. but at least it's offered.
I guess you.
How do I cancel a
So I guess
ticket to
the
the only reason I was coming was the food ticket.
the new
Like,
venue is in beautiful Salt Lake City, Utah. Correct.
Yeah. It's surrounded by mountains. It is ideal. Here's what's kind of cool is like, we're technically classified in the same, we're like an esport. All right. I never thought about it like this, but I've been working with the Utah Tourism Bureau for a long time to try to like make this venue happen. Even when I was with FLJ, I'm like, this is kind of a cool spot. And I realized that trying to get venue space is really, really challenging unless you have like an inn. So I've been working with the Utah Department of Tourism and specifically the Sports Salt Lake, which brings in sporting events. And we 40K is classified as a sporting event. So we have Sports Salt Lake backing us, giving us this, not giving us, they're giving it at a discount, this beautiful venue that frankly is just unheard of for 40K. It's this gorgeous convention center in Salt Lake with mountains in the background, and it's super functional and actually 20% bigger than what we had for Texas. So growing too, which is cool.
So things are bigger outside of Texas.
Oh yeah. yeah. It is kind of cool though, right? This whole 8-person team format thing. Obviously you guys know it. I'm sure a lot of the people that listen to Stat Check know it and love it, but it's crazy that, I was looking at the roster of teams coming to Challengers Cup. Cause like I said, it's sold out, completely sold out. And we got teams that like, they've never been to a team event before, but they're like, we're doing this. We're excited. We're hungry for it. And I think we're starting something. I know it's been happening overseas for a while, but I think we're starting something here in the US where you're getting a lot of people that want to play 8s. And so here in my little local community, there's an 8-person team tournament next month. And I'm like, yes, I'm signed up and I'm going to go play it. So it seems like this is going to become, I don't want to say the new norm, but maybe it becomes more normal.
Yeah, I mean, all the people on all the shows for years have been shouting out, right? Like, I remember hearing Nick Nanavati from Art Award saying years ago, if you want people to care about like coverage and the storylines, right, Team 40K is the way to do it because you attach yourself to a team, a club, a store, a country, right? There's so much more than just, all right, how's that player doing? Oh, cool, I looked away. I don't really care about the event anymore, right? There's a lot more invested from the guys back home who are watching you play and all that kind of stuff, right? There's so much more interesting stuff to follow. I really love this thing you guys did with the flags this year up at the venue at Champions Cup, where like when you lost, it got pulled down. I stand by. You should give them to the team that beat them.
Like bounties. Oh no, snap! I like it. I like scalp, dude. That's kind of cool. So in it's like I'm legitimate. Like I want to do whatever you guys want, and you guys have been backing us since we first had this concept. And obviously, you're very important to Challengers Cup and hopefully the long, exciting future we have. So like if you want to make those bounties, I'm kind of cool. I think it's kind of cool. It might even be fun to let like the winning team get to remove. I mean, maybe that's getting too dramatic, getting to remove the flag down or something. But
I certainly don't think you're going to find half the captains who'll be deep in their cups at that point. I assume.
I actually do think that would be great. Like the handover of the flag for your team to the other team. Like
you got to stake your flag in the pairings.
And it'd be really cool for the teams that have won to all of a sudden get to go back home with like literally their bounties, the heads they've got. I don't know. I think we're onto something here, man. I kind of like it. What did you think about? Okay, so this is something that no one knows, and we're going to talk about it right now on air. The event sold out on Saturday, and since Saturday, I've been hit up by at least 5 or 6 other teams that are like, I want, like, what can I pay you to get in? Like, how can I bribe you with? People know I like cereal. They're like, how can I bribe you with cereal? I'm like, no, cash is more important at this point. I got a new house, big mortgage. But like, people are so eager to get into this event now that it's sold out. It's funny once you realize there's only a finite resource, it's only a number of tickets. All of a sudden, people are like, "Oh, I missed out. Now I really want to go." So we're just toying around with this idea, and you guys are more format and more competitive, more focused. We have space. What if we meant more than 64 teams? Because now with 64 teams, you have 6 rounds. You can have one clear and defeated winner. If we go to say 78, I don't know. What do you guys? You guys tell me?
I don't.
We kind of cap it at
64. It's too big a deal. The nice thing about the team format is because you have the stratification of like having that wide draw margin in team format, right? Where we have 75 to 85 as a draw, where you have to get past your 86 plus in the 20 differential. Like you have a lot more draws in the team format than you will. And I know the American the mind can't always comprehend that. Draws are anathema from what I understand. But once you go up to like you need to go past like another quarter again, which would be 16, so like past 80 I think you're probably starting to push it, but like 70 something is probably going to be pretty fun. Like you might end up with 2 teams that have one of them but there is always there's the very clear tiebreaker of the battle points, that like the 20 0 points that are scored, that will always just give you a guarantee of there will be a team that has clearly won.
And going with battle points, there's no feels bads. I mean, you as a player that goes to the WTC, that goes to a lot of team tournaments, do you feel that is like a not a fun way to win by battle points? Are you cool with it? I mean, you fine with it?
No, I mean it's fine. Like at WTC, we play one more round, right? We have 40 something teams. We play 7 rounds, so we play more than we need, just because we can do it over 4 days, which is a luxury that event has. But when you look at kind of the thing, you're like, the team in first and the team in second, they're going to be defeated by that. But, when you're looking at the team in fourth versus the team in fifth, it's based on who beat their opponents harder, right? That's ultimately what it comes down to. One thing you could potentially do is just go with like both teams win if there's 2 winners, right? Just have both teams split the trophy or whatever. Just be like, suck it up. You couldn't beat each other. Like, sorry. I don't know. I always find tiebreakers so weird.
Beat each other up in the parking lot after.
Yeah, exactly. Go and fight.
I mean, anything goes, guys. By the way, Innes, I got to say that I do think you speak faster than me, which is a rare thing for me to find. So I really appreciate this.
Someone left a comment last week of, I wish I could toggle between 0.75 for Innes and 1.25 for Anthony when they're speaking, which I thought was quite funny.
I love it. Cool.
I think we have Kicker, Innes, and Adam Camilleri all on the same show at the same time and see if like the internet actually has a problem with it.
Adam, back when I was living in New Orleans, Adam stayed at my house. We went and did Mardi Gras and all that fun stuff. And my wife's like, she couldn't stand it. She's like, there's too much energy in this house, just talking too fast. She just left. Yeah. Well, cool. Well, okay. So we have like a blank canvas, right? We have the foundation. We have 64 teams signed up. We have a great venue. We have a lot of people, sponsors really on board for this. I mean, the sky's the limit. Is there anything we should change? Like we like literally like tell us what we can do. Now we don't have to come up with the answers now, but like one of the things we're toying with is I personally think it's cool to have at least 2 different types of terrain, so you can't like master just WTC or just master GW. You have to be able to come and play in 2 different worlds or 2 different realms. But like, are there other things like we should consider doing? I mean, or maybe changing for next year? Like, literally we could do anything. What if we did? I mean, if we did more than 64 teams, we could have 3 rounds on Friday and then 2 rounds on Saturday and 2 rounds on Sunday. I mean, 3 rounds on the day is a lot, but what do you guys think? I mean, what can we do to change, or if we need to change anything?
Yeah, I mean, coming off the back of Champions Cup, it really did just feel like it was a well-run example of the format, right? It wasn't. Yeah. It was just a good example of exactly what the team event is looking for, and the inconsistency between train sets was very interesting. The 3 different sets created like a lot of difference between each round, where you had, we were just like, the polls were just like, please just play us on WC so I don't have to learn the train format. And that was great fun. And sometimes they're just like, I don't know what the hell is going on. And that was quite funny for us as the team making them play on it. It was great fun. As far as like the format goes, like there was nothing in it that was like, it's a fairly solved format, right? Like you're playing teams, you're doing the thing that people expect from team format, and that's what people have come to expect and what people enjoy. I don't know if there's much of a need to change with that. Outside of that, like the stuff surrounding the event was all great, right? There was the model repair station. You guys had the judge team like available and accessible in the middle. You had all those big banners for the teams, the actual flags as well. Like there was all that great stuff. And it's hard to kind of sit here and be like, oh yeah, you guys should have done this as well, because I think we all came away from the event just feeling incredibly satisfied and like we had a great time and we wanted to do it again, which is why, you guys are running the same weekend as LGT. And I've done LGT 5 the last 5 times it's run in a row, and I'm coming to Challenger Cup. And
oh shit, are you serious? Like I know LGT's the same, but that's a very high compliment. I figure that Innes might be going to the thing that's basically next door to his house. Nope. So I appreciate you coming across the ocean to come play this. This is huge,
5 years, and I'm like, no, I'll do Challenger Cup instead, because it's running with StatCheck and the stream and all that. Because I can imagine Joe will be there instead of LGT that year, because he did both this year. It's just like, well, I guess I'll just have to go and see Joe. I think the one thing, like the one thing that stood out to me was like the storyline on the stream maybe could have been improved in terms of like the way that it was followed through. Obviously, like our round with XPZ ended up being our close round for the effectively being the round for the win. That ended up not being on stream, and it's just kind of like, I understand that there's a lot of appeal there with like showing a bunch of different people and showing off stuff, but if you when you play a singles tournament, you follow the player that's winning through the finals, the semifinals. If that's going to be in a team format, you're probably not going to have the same player from the team on. I feel like it's not as big a deal to have a team on back to back. But obviously, that's from the perspective of myself wanting us to be able to be on stream, right? Whereas for a lot of teams, it's like, oh, we're getting to play against Vanguard and we're getting to be on stream, even though you're maybe not playing for the finals. So there's like a decent amount there. And there's maybe worth looking into more of the multi-streaming opportunities maybe there. Like what they had with or like seeing if teams could potentially bring in their own streaming setups. That was one of the things that
I think we should open the doors, open the floodgates out. We should have more streamers if more streamers want to come. Like, I don't think we need to make it exclusive to one streamer. I think that'd be a lot of fun to get more people creating content there. You know, especially because we do have more space. We got more elbow room for it all. Is there another streamer that's the Joe equivalent in your neck of the woods?
I mean, like for us, there isn't really in the UK, but like there's Tabletop Live out of Canada. There's a bunch of other people in the US, but there's also the role of like do your own stream, right? Get the stream set up with you and Corrales, and then have like the War Games Live and have two going or something like that, right? There's a plenty of table there, right? You're gonna have 64 teams is 480 players.
512.
512. Having two streams going at once is not going to drown you out of options for the next round, right? So
okay. Oh, hey, because we're talking about total numbers real fast. Do you guys think a coach is actually necessary? Because you guys, like some teams come with like multiple, like the team from Australia, because they're coming. They just told me they got 2 like coaches coming or support staff. And then you got teams like I was talking to the guys from Montana that are coming down. Like they've got 8 people. I think there's only 8 people in the state of Montana, and they're coming down to play 40K. They don't have the luxury of a support staff member. So we're thinking about creating like a Freeblade like list, I guess, for I don't know if you can hear my kids in the background. It's nighttime.
You're all good.
Okay. So is it like necessary to have a coach? Like, because we're going to try and offer that for people that need it, because there's enough locals.
If you want to compete at the top level, you want to have a chance of beating the Tundra Tactics, the Vanguard, the Stat Check, the Art of War, you're probably going to need a coach, because there's just too much information flowing around for any one person to handle while they're also playing a game. But if you're just there to have a good time, and ultimately your goal is to go in, do the pairings, have some fun with it, and then play a bunch of good games with a bunch of great people, you don't need a coach to do that. A coach will like it's the garnish on the cake, right? Like it will make it better, but it's still a good cake at the end of the day, right? You're still going to have a good time with it. We've played, we were in Poland 2 weeks ago doing a team event there. We played 5 rounds. We didn't take a coach for 8 mans, and we just kind of whoever finished first did the job, and it was kind of fine. I would recommend, if you're not going to have a coach, have a player who's really fast on a fast army, and then they can become your coach. And that's not a bad way to do it. But having a system of just being like, hey, if there are people in the area that want to come and help out or come and attach themselves to a team for a while, I can't see any reason not to have it offered, right?
Because we are offering up we have to put a formal wait list in place, as well as a Freeblade list. And on the Freeblade forum I was working on yesterday with Corrales, the idea was to allow people to say, hey, I will offer to be a coach or support staff or water boy or whatever the terminology is. Because I mean, you guys, I didn't realize the pairing process was such a lengthy process, I guess, like, and that eats up time, and you guys are all focused, and especially teams like you guys were all huddled around. It was not like one guy doing it. It was all you were involved. So having somebody just to help get food, I guess, is definitely valuable.
It's get food, it's get the table set up as well, is a very real time consuming, right? When you're, adjusting terrain between every given round, having the players go around, having just 2 guys, like one coach from each team, and like a couple players who are maybe not involved in the pairing process, just going around, setting up 4 tables for each team with the objectives, so your players can just go on and get straight into the game, is definitely very helpful.
Cool.
But yeah, the pairings process is one of those things where, depending on like you get out of it what you put into it. If you just want to sit there and do pairings by yourself, there's nothing wrong with doing that. But when you have the range of experience that some of the teams have, you can be like, hey, could you come and tell me, I'm playing against your army, could you come down and sit with us and tell me what table I should pick to screw over the guy on that team playing your army? We had Francois being like, John Lennon, come over here, tell me what I should play against Necrons with Tyranids, because Lennon played his army more than he did, and then Lennon picked it, and Francois was like, he picked the wrong table, I got screwed. And all those kind of storylines are great coming out of it as well. They're very, very fun to see, and very fun to make. It's really great to be able to make fun of your team at the end of the day as well. That's always a big part.
So I'm playing in an 8-person team event next month. I'm really excited. I'm gonna get my ass handed to me. I'm gonna run my guard. Should I going in? Should I prepare myself for failure if I'm just bringing my normal take all comers guard list, or do I really need because I'm playing with a team that's not like hardcore. We're just going to go play an 8-person team.
You should probably go into it with like, ask your team. Like, the baseline questions you want to ask if you're just getting started for doing teams is get everybody to sit down and go, you kind of want to identify like 3 key roles. You're going to have defender lists, attacker lists, and take all comers lists. and you can really quickly like just, hey, are you more comfortable playing score some points, play some bad matchups, and get your grind, which is defender players? Are you going to go and try and smash somebody, which is attacker players? You'll have people who are very confident. They're like, yeah, my army can play anything except like that one thing. And then you'll have people who are just like, yeah, I'm just going to show up and play some games. And kind of once you get into that, you can start looking for, well, defender players are probably going to get to pick their table, right? Because they're going to go down first. They're going to, so you can kind of go with, well, I might not get to choose what I'm playing against, but I know that I can have a board that I like, that I know that I have good sight lines on, right? And you can build your list with that in mind. So for a guard, you might go, okay, normally I bring 12 Bulgarian because I want to be able to like go and charge people behind walls, or I bring 18, or I bring Rough Riders because I need to get around angles. But we played it last weekend. We just went, well, we know we're going to put this on the board that has all the objectives in the open. We'll just bring slightly more guns than normal, right? And so you can kind of, you don't have to go crazy with it, but you just take a couple people and you're like, okay, you two are probably going to be our defenders. You're probably going to play on your choice of table. So build your list knowing that you're going to get what you like. And then for your attacker players, well, they know that they're only going to be attacking to things that they're good into. So they can kind of go, okay, well, I know my list isn't great into Thousand Suns, but in singles, I play this and this that hedges against that. So I have a chance in that match when it comes up. And you just know you're not going to play Thousand Suns. So they go, okay, well, I'm just going to bring more of the stuff that I'm good at. And they go, okay, well, I'm not going to play these extra scoring units. I'm just going to play more pure damage because I know I won't play my bad matchups. And then for your Kick Out Commerce players, they just play their normal thing. They maybe pick like one or two things to be slightly better against, slightly worse against, to kind of give them some direction, but you don't have to go crazy with it. It's just, hey, who wants to be the big dick? Who wants to be taking it chill? And who wants to do their fun thing on their table, but playing against anything? And you can kind of go 2, 2, and 4. 2 people get to just decide 2 things they don't want to play against. 2 people get to go, we know we're playing on our table, and the other 4 don't have to, don't worry about it. And you can kind of take it from the players you've got who are more invested, who want to put more time into like thinking about it, because you might have like a split of people in your team where like 3 or 4 of you are really wanting to like take it home, and the other 4 of you are just kind of there along for the ride, and you can kind of split it that way. You know, you have a lot of agency in there without having to go into like, let's build a team composition, right? Which is what we do. And we try to go into it like, well, let's bring answers for this and answers for that, right? You can take the 8 lists you're normally playing and just tweak them a little bit for the team format and end up getting like a lot more out of it than you put into it. And I think for anybody who's kind of looking at getting into teams and wanting to just take it a little bit seriously, but not trying to go crazy with it, that's probably the approach to start looking at.
No, cool, man. Cool. I'm so stoked. This is my first team event since I played like a doubles event when I was like a little kid, right? That's all I got. So I'm really excited to go and probably get my ass handed to me. But yeah, do you practice Innis or Nathan? Do you practice your team event into singles? I mean, your team's list into singles. Like you're playing a team tournament in December. Are you in November going to just go to a few, RTTs practicing your team list, or do you need to completely change your list?
Generally, yes. It depends on. A lot of this depends on like the level of investment for team events for me. I play a lot of tournaments, obviously. So
I can tell,
if I'm going to like WTC and I'm the prep lead up to that, then yes, I'm going to practice my list for that in my events that I've got running up to it. For something like a local team event like the one I have in December in Scotland, I'm probably just going to show up with the list that I want to play for that, and maybe I'll play it in an RTT or some practice games, but I won't worry about it so much. So it's kind of, for me, levels to this thing. Like I played the list for Champions Cup that I had been playing already, right? I just didn't change it going into it. Whereas for some people, it was like, hey, we're going to run this up and rep up to it because they were on new factions for it. And for anybody who's, if you're going to treat Challengers Cup as the end of your season, the thing you're building towards, practice your list in some RTTs, play it in a singles event. You'll learn just as much. And you can the thing you'll find when you practice in a singles environment is that you'll often take much bigger risks in bad matchups because you just kind of want to get to that situation of, well, I might as well try and win. But if you are playing that in a team environment, you might go into it with the approach of, okay, how do I play this to lose as little as I can? And that is a very different thing that you won't get out of singles. You kind of need to practice that separately. So you have to be a little bit careful with, if you're going into it and you're like, okay, well, I know that my guard list that I'm playing can't beat new Blood Angels, right? You can't beat it. But in singles, you're going to try, right? You might as well. You're going to see what happens. Maybe you hit the 6/6 charge and you pop it off and you get there. But in teams, you would definitely go into more of a like, okay, how do I make sure I'm maximizing my score? How do I deny some primary and keep myself, keep this close so that my opponent doesn't blow me out? And you don't take those risks. You take it chill. But if you try to do that in singles, you'll never win the game. So what's the point, right? So there's a little bit of like, you have to be careful because you'll learn slightly the wrong lessons if you just always take the risk you would take in singles in a team's game. But there's definitely a level of like familiarity. Like you still want to know your army rules. You still want to know your mechanics. You just got to take the matchup with a pinch of salt. It's just because it's a bad matchup doesn't mean it's a blowout. You can lose a game, but lose it small and still have that be winning for your team. If your job is, if your opponent's expecting to win 15-5 or 20-0 and you keep them to a 12-8 or a 13-7, that's just as good for your team as if you're, you were meant to win the matchup and you won bigger than you should, right? You're still clawing differential away from your opponent and putting yourself and your team in a better situation. So you can win even in a loss in teams, which is the really like the nice aspect of it is that your team is playing around, your game is part of it, and you are more than the sum of your results, right? So you can lose 5 games or 6 games in a 6-round tournament and still have like done so much more for your team than somebody who won 6 games. You can show up with a list that's just designed to blow people off the table, win 6 games 20-0, never break a sweat. You're just rocking around like Liam VSL, eating your stir fry after the game, having never done anything, and be like, yeah, I did my job for 6 rounds. And then Kicker's over there in the trenches, scoring 50, getting 15-5 every round, playing the hardest games against the list no one else wants to play, and you're your team's MVP, right? So that's a wonderful thing that teams brings to everybody. That no matter your skill level, no matter your performance, you can always be contributing to your team.
Cool. Hey, well, so we're talking about Nathan, go.
There's also one thing that you can always do that's kind of a good team building exercise as well, and a way to make the reps useful if you're going to play in singles is you can make a matrix with each other. You can look at all the factions that you guys want to play and like the list that you're thinking about bringing, and then how you think all of your matchups go. And so you can set up an Excel spreadsheet with each of your team members on one side and then each of the matchups that you guys expect people to have on the other side. And you can fill out that with like yellow, green, and red, essentially stoplight colors for how you think those will go. And then you can fill that out with singles experience. And then if you know another local team that wants to get practice, can always do a scrim if you feel like that's a thing that you want to spend your time doing to familiarize yourself both with, are my players full of shit? When they say that I have green matchups, like good matchups. Yes. The answer to that is always yes. They are full of it. And then the second thing is you can practice the pairings process just in general, which I think is really useful if your team is just not familiar with the team's environment. So like if you've never done a team's environment, the pairings process is probably like the most opaque part of it. And that is the most important process to teams. And the matrix helps you do the second part of that. So if you can get your team to like collaborate a little bit, like maybe over some beers, over some pizza or something, or over a very spicy stir fry, or a hefty shared bowl of cereal. I don't know.
Yeah, there we go. I believe in communal cereal. Yeah, I'm all for it. I know, but I do like the idea of just like you don't actually have to engage with. So I mean, we've all been involved with this hobby one way or another for a long time. I've been involved with this hobby for a long ass time, and I love that there's so many ways to enjoy it. Like literally, you could be sitting down having pizza and still partaking in the hobby, talking about the pairing process and whatnot. That's so badass. You brought up something though, like practice and stuff, right? Like scrimmagers or whatever. And I'm in this weird position where I am an event manager. I'm with a new group now. I'm very excited, and we're just getting started, folks. Like the Challengers Cup is just the beginning for us. So we have a whole bunch of stuff we're going to be launching for 2025. But I'm in this weird position. Do we do more team events or singles events? Because I don't want to cannibalize, success from Challengers Cup by doing another team event, or I don't want to dilute the awesomeness because now there's multiple team. Like, should we just do a bunch of singles? Like, well, you guys tell me. Should we do like a smaller, like maybe a Challengers Cup practice tournament, maybe 2 months before? What do you guys think?
I think if you're getting an event to sell it in 11 days and people are asking you to sign up after the fact, you're probably not going to flood the market by running 2 a year.
Cool.
But I think there is definitely a world where there is such a thing as too many team events where people start getting picky over which ones they'll go to. Right. When there's only a couple of marquee ones, people will go to all of them. When there are 5, it's, I missed tickets for this one. There's another one in 3.
Totally.
Right.
Totally.
It becomes a little bit, but it's a lot harder to have a unique selling point at a singles event nowadays. There are so many more of them. They're all in cool locations. They're all in amazing places in the world. They're all being run by awesome event teams. Asterisk. So there's always just like, how much can you sell? It's like the novelty of, I'm coming from playing in the UK where there's a super major a month now, and you miss a ticket for one. Oh well, there'll be another one. There's no there's not a lot of draw to them besides size now, right? It's which one's the biggest one. I'm going to go to Nottingham because it's
is
400
size,
players.
and we're not talking about male genitalia here, but is size really like all that
I mean,
matters?
size is a draw, right? Like
Yeah.
when you people care about things like how competitive the room is on average, right?
Yeah.
The bigger an event, the more it's going to draw in other better players, right? I have a much better chance of playing
because we
4 or
have the
5 top
WTC,
players.
right? The WTC Super Premier. You got one team from each country, regardless of the size of the country. And I know that's kind of a contentious point. Some people think that some countries probably have more, but WTC, I guess, is what you said, 40 teams or something.
Yep.
And that's a legacy thing. It's been going on for a while. While we obviously have 64 with potential to do more. Does our event suddenly become more exciting? Does the challenges become more exciting because there's just more
exciting
teams?
for the average player to go to, right?
Okay,
Like
yeah.
certainly it becomes more exciting for people in America because it's a thing that they can go to, right? Where
Yeah.
WTC is an aspirational event. It's a
Yeah.
thing, it's more like WTC
It's
is
the Olympics. It's the
effectively-
Olympics.
Yeah, it's effectively an invite tournament, right? It's hey, you
Ah.
play in your country for a year and you qualify, and it's prestigious, but it's not big. It's notable for its quality, not its quantity. But for any average tournament, the easiest differentiating factor is quality, is quantity, right? It's just be bigger than the competition. It's why LGT and LVO are trying to be bigger, or like LVO or LGT is always trying to be bigger than LVO, right? It's just we just need to sell 100 tickets so we're bigger than LVO was last year, etc., etc., etc. Right?
It's so close. They're getting so close at this point.
It is, and it's like, do you know what? That's a great draw, right? That's a great reason to be like, I'm going to go do LVO, I'm going to go do LGT because it's a big tournament. I know there's going to be the best players in the world there because size begets good players because we want our ITC points, we want our ELO, we want to prove we're the best at the biggest tournaments because, if we're not doing it for, internet points, why are we doing it at all, right? So.
Well, Corrales and I are both very much aligned, so we're kind of that guy, the guys winning Challengers Cup along with a couple other folks. But really, with us, it's so critical that the quality maintains premier, no matter how many people we have. So whether we go from 64 to 70 something, we want to make sure the experience is like literally good, like the best it can be. Like we don't want anyone to come close to us in terms of providing the best damn experience. So plenty of elbow room, ideally a nice venue, good lighting, air conditioning or heating based on what your needs, food that, all that. So that is something that I do keep myself in check. I don't want to run a singles event or a team event unless it's really just the perfect experience. Out of curiosity, because we were talking about singles a little bit, I know you guys have been to LVO at least once. I know Ennis says, Nathan, you've been to LVO or no, you're not.
I've been to
LGT.
Yes.
You've been LVO.
We were both there the same year.
And at LG2 too, I believe that's the same thing. And a lot of singles events, just in general, they're trying to cram as many people as they can into one room. What ends up happening is you have people playing literally elbow to elbow, these pods of tables. Now, I understand the need for that, right? Because you want to sell tickets and you want to get more people there. But I feel like the experience is diminished a little bit because now it's like, whenever you're playing, hamburger layouts or any you know what I mean? Or you have to get to the ends. It gets challenging and some people block the aisles. How important is that to you guys as competitive players? Because for me, I'm looking at 2025. Do I want to have this be a 300 person event or 150 person event with floating tables? Like you guys tell me so we can update,
I certainly hit a point about a year and a half ago where I stopped going to as many UKTC tournaments. I was at one point going to like almost all of them that I could reasonably justify. And I kind of hit a point where I was like, the idea of going to what was effectively, the same tournament in a different location, they were very, I would describe the UKTC events as being paint by numbers Warhammer tournaments. There is nothing wrong with them, but you show up, you never interact with the TO, you show up, you know what the rules back is because it's on the website and it's the same as it was last month. And there is nothing wrong with that, but it is a very generic experience, just in a different gym hall in a different city of the UK. And I kind of hit the point with that. Yeah.
Fast food.
And
I'll have number 3.
They're great for getting your ITC points. They're great for seeing everybody that always goes to them. And they have a great community of the same people go to a lot of them. And you see people, and it's great because it's still a 40K tournament where you're seeing all your friends. Yeah. But I did hit a point with them where they are the same tournament. There is not a ton of unique selling point to them. And it became very easy to be like, well, I could go to the 150 player UKTC one, or there's like a 60 person one that my friends are going to that's local, or that's like a cool venue, or someone cool is running it that I know that I've not seen in a while. And it became really easy to start justifying going to those instead because they were more personal and more more unique experiences, right? And for me, that's a lot of the selling point of why I go to tournaments now. I travel between 25 and 35 tournaments a year.
Damn, dude, you got to get this guy a medal here. Is this the most? I mean, you travel more than Joe at this point.
Not even close.
Jeez, it's not the
I'm
most.
like somewhere in the top 10 probably, but not.
He's in the 0.0001%.
Yeah,
we did map it out once. We've mapped it. Don't worry.
I play a lot of tournaments, and not all of them are singles tournaments, right? So for me, at this point, I've hit a point where I want to play in unique and different times. I want to go to different cities and see different things and go and do cool things when I'm there. I try to pack a day on the end of a lot of the tournaments I go to now, and you could see events stop being that for me. So for me, once you hit a density of, I could go to in the US, could you go to a super major every weekend if you wanted to? Probably not yet, so you're probably not quite at that density, but there will hit a point where people want the more unique and intimate experiences, right? They want the 150 player tournament that's really well run, where it feels like you're doing something while you're there, rather than just playing Warhammer and leaving, right?
Yeah.
And
that's my goal. Is all of our events with this new group, that every event is a premier experience, and that you want to go there. It'd be really easy just to photocopy Challengers Cup every year and do it the exact same location, the same thing. But I think that we got guys like you coming in from around the world. We got the team Australia, guys from Singapore. I want to kind of move that so you don't see the same part of the Americana every year. So ideally next year, who knows? It could be somewhere completely different. And the idea is the experience changes. But I definitely do value having the elbow room around the tables. Ideally, we have a few less people to ensure that the people that are coming have a better experience overall. What do you guys think about swag? Because I know that traditionally that's always been not swag, trophies, awards. That's something that I know that we can step up. Medals, cups, plaques, banners. When you guys won the freaking what do you guys want? Like what do you want to go home with?
So personally, I like something small that is like reasonable quality, right? Okay. So my favorite trophies that I have, Cali Cup, the one that I went to the Steve Prowler's run, did like a piece of slate that was engraved with the tournament name and the place you came, and those were fantastic. Cool. And I can't imagine they were expensive. The ITC 2023 Best in Factions were little glass plinths about this size, just like a black grass square with like laser engraving of the faction that you want. This year's were like the generic, like off the shelf trophy ones. They weren't as nice. I like small, personalized for the tournament.
The ones you liked are from me. Sorry.
There you go. So like I think
I gotta
love the big like trophy this size that one person from the team gets to take home, especially in team events. I don't love those. They always feel a little bit like you just give it to one guy and then you never see it again. Belts are fun if you're doing a more like a smaller thing. I don't hate belts.
But what about the medals? Because WTC, you guys go with like
Olympic the medals are sick as well. Yeah. That's another one I would shout out. Yeah. Alpine Cup and WTC do medals, which are like proper metal, like weighted ones. UKTC used to do them. They moved away from doing them. I have a bunch of them out in the garage. I love them. WTC and Alpine also do rings, which are really cool. With just like gold, silver, and bronze rings for the winning teams with the like the eventing on the like the thing. They look really nice on a shelf. They don't look too
I don't see.
Sometimes you want to avoid having too Warhammery stuff as well. Like I don't love getting like spray painted models or 3D printed like bolt guns and things like that. I find them a little tacky. But that's one person's preference, right? I know a lot of people, and I'm also in a very privileged position to have a tier list of my trophies, which feels a little shit to say, right? So,
Innes does in fact sleep with them every night. He cuddles with his trophies.
With them. Yeah. You and your family, you do these family photos, but because you have so much experience taking home these awards, your opinion is very valuable to me because you get to compare awards from different. Man, this guy's ego just out of the room. But no, that is pretty cool though. The plaques I like. I think it's kind of cool to have something you can put on a wall that you could put it in your office and it looks just cool and you don't like your coworkers don't need to know.
Notices that they could maybe ask, and if someone asks somebody, be like, yeah, it's for an event I won, and it's not just like a bolt gun. I will say one of the highlight ones. I have one of the GW Blacksmith ones. The big Warhammer like logo that's blacksmith looks wonderful. Couldn't hang it on my wall. It would
Wait, how do you get that? Was that a World?
I won the one they ran in the UK back in 2023. So yeah,
those ones are hefty. They
are, dude. If I had been flying, I wouldn't have gone
like hard metal. I don't know how people fly with those. I like from going to Tacoma, I was like, holy shit.
If I got a home intruder, it would be my first port of call. Like, absolutely, I would be going for the Warhammer.
So we do also have questions for
Oh
Kicker
shit, go away.
from our
Like,
from our Discord community, if we want to touch on those before.
Let's do those, and then we'll let Kicker get away to his stir fry and his family. And we can have a deal after that.
okay. It's okay.
Okay.
It's okay.
So we asked our Discord community full of Patreons to ask questions specifically for you today.
Oh, great.
The first one is from Logan, and this is always the question that somebody's going to ask is, what is your favorite way to eat eggs, Kicker?
Ooh, okay. So don't judge me, but I like a good egg McMuffin. I'm talking about like right from McDonald's, classic egg McMuffin. That is the only way to eat eggs, or like burrito, Tex-Mex style, breakfast burrito. But yeah, I like my egg McMuffin. I'm slutty for that kind of stuff, man. Give me an egg McMuffin from McDonald's, and
I will never say no to a solid breakfast sandwich. That's like. And honestly, Egg McMuffins are like the most sold item at McDonald's for a reason, right?
Wait, are you serious?
I'm almost 100%.
That doesn't sound right.
Yeah, but you know what's funny though? Like we tried to do like at a lot of events, I try to do like more like fancy breakfasts and stuff. But no, people want a freaking breakfast burrito or breakfast sandwich. They want something they can eat and go to their tables. They don't want anything fancy. Sweet. All right, shoot. We got any more?
Oh, we do. We have we have a bunch.
Oh,
I swear, Kicker. The next one is, how do teams USA, Canada, and Mexico? Oh man, plan. How does this work?
We don't have anyone from any of those teams here, so I don't think we can.
We don't have any of those teams here, so we can't answer that question, Logan. All right, what is the hardest thing, Kicker, about planning super major level events that people don't appreciate or know about?
I think the hardest thing has to be that every single time, every single event I go to, there's always like tables are not placed where you need them to be placed, and like moving one table, then you have to move the table next to it over and the next table over, and it's like becomes this miserable game of dominoes, just moving every single table over 6 inches, or the table's not being perfectly level. And so like I myself will sometimes, because I'm usually the first one there, I will be with like the president of like the Caesars Resort, and we'll be like on our hands and knees with little shims, just trying to shim up the tables the night before. Because if there's one thing I know about 40K players is that they will bitch if those tables are not perfectly level. Not as much though as the X-Wing players. The X-Wings, they just lose their shit. Like if the tables aren't, because I think X-Wing, you slide the model across. So if there's a slight, unevenness there between where the two tables are joined. But yeah, I think, and engaging how many cashiers you need at the lunch line, that is really challenging, because people don't realize we have to pay to staff those things. Like we don't make money off the sales of the hot dogs or whatever, but we actually have to pay for somebody to work that line. And so it's like, do we do 2, 3, 4? How many people? And you just never know. You just never know.
So Kicker, that actually has Oh no, go ahead, Ennis. I have a question from me personally.
Oh, yeah, wow.
I was going to say, people complaining about level tables never had to play on Realm of Battle boards, clearly. I think if we went back to that, everybody would stop.
My local store uses those exclusively for events for a while. They use the old Forge World table slot tails for a long time. But what game system has the players that complains the most, Kicker, is my question to you.
Oh man,
who are the worst?
I'm just like digging myself into a. Okay, can I start off with the best? Is that okay?
Yes, you can start off with the best.
The best is definitely, and listen, I don't play Age of Sigmar, but the Age of Sigmar crowd, they are always fun. They're always shit faced. They're always having a good time. No, even the top competitors, and I know most of them personally. Even the top competitors in the Age of Sigmar, they're just awesome, having a good time, and happen to be kicking your ass at the game. I think. This is gonna hurt some feelings, but I really just, the X-Wing guys were just, they're almost like Magic players. They were never there to have a fun time. They're always a little rough around the edges and always really focused. Armada though is weird. Armada is a very similar game system, but the community around that game system is so chill. But it's like, you guys are both playing little spaceships in the Star Wars universe, but some of you are angry and some of you are happy. What is going on here? Kill Team is weird, because Kill Team, the people aren't angry, but they're just laser focused. You see the Kill Team people show up, and they're just like, they are like playing chess, like they are. And like 40K people, even if they want to go win, they're generally like a very relaxed demeanor. But Kill Team guys show up, and they are no nonsense. We're here to go and kick your ass with one model at a time, not a whole army.
Gotcha. The next question, also from Sam, is, what were some of the biggest lessons learned from hosting Champions Cup this year that you hope to bring to next year?
Oh man, dude, you can't ever get cocky, right? Like I thought, like I knew that venue so well because we've when I was working with FLG, I scouted that venue. I knew that venue for 5 years. Like I know that venue inside and out, and I just like I felt comfortable. I know exactly what I need. Turns out that having water in the hallway outside is not as good as having water inside, and people really want water in the hall, like within arm's reach. And so I guess I rested comfortably thinking, oh, I don't have to reassess this. Everyone knows, everyone's fine. But no, I think one of the biggest lessons I've learned is, with Champions Cup or going to be upcoming Challenges Cup is constantly be willing and eager to look for ways to improve.
Awesome. And then Grant has a question, but first he also wants to say thank you for running the event, you and Steve Corrales for running it and doing an amazing job, but also wants to ask, what are your thoughts on the growing popularity of teams events in the United States? Are you for it? Are you against it? Are you bamboozled by it?
So I'm going to speak through the lens of an organizer. I'm going to tell you straight up, it is amazing because there's less bullshit, right? Because people come in with a team, there's less drama. The team keeps their kind of troublemaker player in kind of like, I don't know, in check, I guess. So it doesn't involve me. Like at the last big team event, I didn't have to do shit. Like there was one really piece of shit guy there, and his team kind of kept him in check, to an extent. They could have done better. I was actually kind of annoyed they didn't do better. But the point is that at a singles event, I'm not trying to, at a 200 person event, there's probably gonna be one or two people I need to go talk to and like, hey, what's going on? And it's not sometimes even just demeanor. Sometimes it's like, that guy's stinky. Like there's stinky people. And if they're on a team, generally their teamers like, you got to go put them some deodorant. Well, it's in a singles event. Guess who has to go tell that guy? It's me. I got to go tell him that he's stinky. And that's always an awkward conversation. So anyway, team events, I think, are better because there's less drama. I think people go and even if they lose every single round, they're having a better time because they're there with 7 of their friends. So like, I think the experience as a whole is better, which makes, I think that's the future. Will they all be team events? No, because it's logistically challenging and you're not always gonna be able to get 8 people to show up at an event. But I think that team events are definitely, like, if I have a choice to go to a team event or single event, it's hands down a team event.
Drops also goddamn suck at team events from speaker experience. Drops are the worst. Trying to find random players for teams or a full team disappearing, the logistics of it is just awful.
Yeah, we had an odd number last month, and I think the solution is that, especially because this event's in the Challenges Cups in Utah. I'm obviously, I live here. I'm embedded in the community. I think I'm going to find a team that I can call up last minute. Hey, we have an odd number. Come join. Just like you play for free, just come join, because no one wants to have a buy round. No one wants that.
Right. The next couple of questions are from Logan. First question is, what are they going to replace those 2 redundant board layouts with in their packet? Which is a very specific question.
You know what? I leave the format to the smarter, more intelligent folks like Anthony and John Lennon, and let you guys figure out the format and the terrain. But I will happily, I will happily adjust whatever we need to change. But yeah, a lot of people just right before I hopped on here, someone was like asking me something about like changing his list. I'm like, I don't deal with that shit. Like I let the experts deal with it, right? I'm not a judge. I'm not handling the format. I'm going to let people that really, make those calls, make them on their own. So yeah, hopefully Anthony and John, who I believe are handling the format for this, can make the decision on what terrain formats we
we'll bother.
It's good that we have Anthony on our team. I'm glad he's handling the format. It's going to be the densest boards I've ever played on. It's going to be great.
Oh yeah, I think corn player.
The most anti-Astra Militarum boards possible is what Anthony's going
Sounds
to
great.
No.
We have 2 questions from Adam Camilleri that are for you.
Okay, cool.
The first one is, how many kicks could a kicker kick if kicker was the kicker?
The answer is 48.
Awesome. And then if kicker could only eat one cereal for the rest of his life, which one would it be?
Oh shit. This is the kind of stuff that keeps me up late at night. Cause no, seriously, like we all have our things. And I've thought about it a lot. Like I love sugary cereal, hence my nice yellowish teeth. I love sugary cereal, but it's like, you can't just eat one sugary cereal, else you get kind of bored with it for a while. Like I love Cocoa Pebbles. I can eat that every single day until suddenly I'm sick of it. I need something different. Well, you can go with a bland cereal and add mix-ins. So bear with me, but if you get something like Rice Krispies, you can throw chocolate chips in it, or you can throw dried fruit in it. So I know you don't want to hear that, but Rice Krispies is a cereal that, as long as I'm allowed mix-ins, you go to town with it. If you can't do mix-ins, then it's got to be either Corn Pops or Cocoa Pebbles. And Corn Pops, dude, like that's like, I eat that like all the time. That's like cereal, like popcorn. Do you have Corn Pops in this, Wills?
I am sure I have something similar, but not by that name.
Okay.
But
It's basically popcorn. All it is sugar glazed caramel popcorn, and then I always throw in
that would probably be illegal to sell as breakfast cereal over here. we have to sell Mountain Dew as an energy drink over here.
Like, oh really?
It's classed the same as like Red Bull. So
my son was asking if he can have corn pops, and I know once he's had corn pops, he's never going to eat Cheerios again. So I'm like, nope, that's a choking hazard, son. You can't have it. My son is 4 years old. He knows how to eat cereal, but I'm like, nope, it's a choking hazard. Nope, can't touch it. Sorry.
You gotta see how long you can stretch that one.
Yeah,
it'll
be like
2 more.
It'll be 17. You
know. 3 more
choking
coming from the Discord. So, Kicker, where does the nickname come from? Or do people close to you refer to you as Kicker in person, or is it just your real name?
Steve Joel, you guys know that guy from New Zealand. He was asking me a similar question. It's like, where's your nickname? He's like, everyone in this community that has a nickname is like, it's like based off their 40K persona. No, my name I've gone by since I was born. When my mother was pregnant, I kicked a lot. So I was called, I hope you know, the little fucking kicker. Like she just cursed at me a lot because I kicked her and annoyed the hell out of her. And so out I popped, and she's like, oh, there's the little beeping kicker. And I've been stuck as a kicker ever since. So yeah, it is the name. It's what my wife calls me. It's what everyone knows me. I do have another name. It's kind of top secret. It is on my passport, but no one needs to know that.
It's fair.
I can respect that.
But by the way,
we have types and Pumbaa on this network. What are we to judge on real names?
but I got to tell you guys though, I suck at soccer or football or whatever the hell you want to call it. Kickball, man, kickball I am terrible at, and it's unfortunate with a name like kicker because always people always have these high expectations. And nope,
you used it all up too early. You burned through your power.
Yeah, there we go.
Okay, what is your favorite foreign cereal? Is another question from the Discord for you.
Oh, geez. Okay, so we're gonna get deep here. There's do you guys know Ovomaltine? It's like a Swiss, like a chocolate malty. It's like hot chocolate mix. So Ovomaltine is like I don't know, like Hershey's chocolate syrup, but in powdered form. I guess is the only way I can describe it. That you put into milk. And in Switzerland, there's a Ovomaltine cereal that is like, imagine having like granola like flaked or dusted in like chocolate malt powder. I don't know. It is glorious. And I am definitely guilty of bringing a suitcase back of that last time I was overseas, and customs like, what the hell? What the hell? I'm like, it's just, yeah, sorry.
Right.
But yes, Ovomaltine cereal is my favorite from Switzerland.
Okay. And does Kicker like Kix cereal?
No, it actually sucks. And the problem is that people like to bring me cereal all the time, and I really appreciate that. And people are like, oh, I got you this box of Kicks, and somebody actually wrote like kickers over it and all that. I'm like, no, this cereal sucks. Thanks. Now I have work. because I have to. It's an effort to eat this thing. I don't like to waste anything. So yes, I will eat my way. And even like the sugary, there's like a honey Kicks or whatever. It's terrible too. So yeah, don't buy me Kicks, please. Don't buy anyone Kicks. Actually,
Ben Jurek has paid $2 to ask you what the best milk to go with cereal is.
Okay, the answer is actually Greek yogurt. Now, bear with me. Because yogurt has a thicker consistency than milk, so you never get soggy cereal because the cereal floats on top. Plus, it's high in protein, so you get kind of a better, more well-rounded thing. But if you want to do milk, do like any milk you want. I mean, any milk. I mean, guess chocolate milk, or you know what, strawberry milk. If you find some strawberry milk, that goes really good with some chocolate.
And Seth the Mad Dog, which I think is the last question before we'll let you get away, Kicker, is how much will you pay him to keep your secret name a secret?
Oh shit. Seth is what we call godparent potential. He would be the godparent of my son. I love the guy, and he does know my true identity. And Seth, I will burn you, man. Do not do that. Do not give out. Seth, do not give out my name.
Wonderful. Well, Kicker, on that note, it has been wonderful to have you. We will let you get back to your day. If people want to find more of you and the events you're doing, where can they go to find you? So right now, Challengers Cup is the big event. I might as well just say it right now. Green Banner Event Co. is the group that has picked me up and that we're firing off quite a few events for 2025. You'll see us on Facebook or in Discord, especially if you happen to the Challengers Cup Discord. I'm living there now. But more to roll out in the near future, including a podcast and all the fun stuff. So yeah, basically, if you just yell Kicker really, really loud, usually just show up on the corner really fast. Unless you need him to be there on time for your show, in which case, exactly. No chance. Cool. All right, Kicker. It's been fantastic to have you. We're going to wrap up the show now, but it's been a pleasure to have you. We'll let you get away. Thanks. Peace out, guys. Bye. Okay, on that note, I'm going to do the plugs quickly, then we'll finish back on the end of the show questions. Yes. So
before we go into it, I've never watched like two people so fully take over a show in my life as two
Sorry,
people who
dude.
talk so. No, it was great. It was like amazing content, but I was sitting here going, "Holy shit!"
You asked me about teams, dude. I don't know what you wanted to happen.
No, I loved it. It was just so funny watching two fast talkers fast talk their way like in an escalating pattern, like an ever escalating one.
Yeah, my family's going to be very mad at me. Okay. Plugs real quick. Hey guys, if you're enjoying the show so far and you want to see even more of us, there are a bunch of ways you can do that. One is to check out the YouTube channel, youtube.com/statcheck. You can see all of our back episodes as well as all the other episodes of all of the other shows on the network, including Take All Comers, X&1, Enter the Matrix, Champions of 40k, and I think that's it, and as well as all the bonus stuff that I'm doing, which I promise will be returning once I figure out how to get on top of my work schedule. I am very upset that I've not been doing it myself. There have been a few extra bits of content that I come out of the Static Network. The one that I want to shout out at the moment is I was on the Wide World of Warhammer, which is a podcast hosted by Sam Lemon, which was us talking about how to review event games for performing better. So if you want to hear about how I review games, how I watch tournament streams, all that kind of stuff, do check that out. There will be a YouTube link in the description once I figure out how to edit it after the fact. If you're in a position to and you would like to support the show a little bit more, you can check out either Patreon at patreon.com/statcheck or the YouTube memberships in the link below. If you would like to support us for $5 a month or $15 a month to get your name read out in the credits, you can do that there. If you're not in a position to, please do leave a like, a comment, and subscription. We do our best to read all of the comments, and if we remember to respond to them, I can't promise that will happen, but we usually try to. Nathan's been slacking because he's selling out. I'm going to blame him because he can't defend himself.
He's going to blame me.
Yeah, I am 100%. Nathan shouted out earlier, but stat-check.com/coaching. One day I'll get that one fast. It's the one thing that I stumble over. If you would like to get help from either myself, Typhus, myself, Pumbaa, Noj, Tyler, or Lucas, drop us an email there or check out the website and you can get approved with us in 40k. It's been very busy recently, which is why there's not been as much 40k content. But if you are looking to improve for a tournament you've got coming up, we've got LVO, we've got WCW, we've got a whole bunch of singles events, and we've got a dataslate due in December. So there's a lot of stuff changing. If you want to have some guidance in that, check it out. We would love to help you. Lastly, you can check out all of our sponsors. They are in the description. That is J15 Games, Saltar Games, Red Dragon, and Whale and Yutani. They are providers of all sorts of wonderful things in 40k. J15 Games and Saltar will hook you up with terrain and widgets and all that kind of stuff. Whale and Yutani will hook you up with WC terrain and objective markers and all that kind of and that sort of general deal. And Red Dragon is your number one shop for 40k and Magic and board games and all that kind of stuff in all of Canada. If you're in the area, you can find discount codes for the first three in the description, and you can find a discount code for Red Dragon through Patreon or YouTube membership. I think that's everything I have to plug. I'm gonna fall asleep now if we don't finish soon.
There's only like a few questions, so we'll get through them really fast.
That's good. I'm really glad because
I promise. Right.
No, I'm kidding. It's actually an hour earlier than it normally would be. I'm just being facetious.
See, I was gonna rush through these to help you out, but now
I'm kidding. The show is an hour earlier. This is the 1 week of like my life being a living hell because the time zones changed for the UK on Sunday just gone, but they don't change for you until next Sunday.
Mm-hmm.
Which means that all of my clients have been at the wrong time this week because everybody is an hour different to what I put in, or I was like, oh yeah, we're an hour different, the wrong direction. So I'm like sitting there like ready to go for my 3 p.m. call, and my client messaged me at 1:05, like, where the fuck are you? And I'm like, making lunch.
1 second.
Yeah, I will be with you in 2 minutes once I put the tin of soup down. Like, god damn it, I was really looking forward to that. Let's do questions.
All right.
As always, if you want to get your question on the show, you can check out the Patreon or the YouTube membership to ask in the show questions thread, or you can leave a super chat on the YouTube stream, or you can just ask a really good question. We can't promise that you were asked for having a really good question, but it is probably the best way if you don't want to pay money.
Because they're not questions, I'm going to do the 2 super chats that are currently still in here that I haven't mentioned yet, which are
reasonable.
2 $1.99 chats from Tim Penny, who is on the show, who continues to launder money through the super chat process, which is a terrible way to do this. One is Rapid Ingress Butthole Bandits, and the other one is Peak Stat Check Enter.
Well, your cat is stretching and showing off its Rapid Ingress Butthole Bandit.
True.
So
there's another cat like right under my feet, and I keep kicking her because she's there.
That's
and I keep
thematic for the show, at least.
True. And then the first question in our Patreon Discord for the show generally, instead of for Kicker, is there's a NIDS build which wants to reduce leadership by 4. Do these stack? And then it's Shadow in the Warp Synapse, -1 to roll, Neurotyrant, -1 to roll, Death Leaper, -1 to leadership, and the Synaptic Nexus Enhancement Dirge Heart of
Yep.
Karis worsen leadership by 1. Of course they do. They're not differently named auras.
I played this at WTC. It's quite good. You can't get your opponent's leadership below 2-9, so it will cap a leadership of value of needing to roll a 10 plus on the dice, but that's still really hard for a lot of armies. My record is everything in my opponent's army except 1 Hammerhead, 1 Crutox, and 1 guy in reserve. That was a pretty good turn.
Pretty good.
He didn't do a lot that turn of guiding. I'm really sorry to my opponent from the Grand Gates Grease at WTC.
McWerp has a question, which is what factions are performing better than you expected post-late, and then what factions are performing worse than you expected? It's a little too early from a data perspective to like really call something out. So I'm going to change this question, Innes.
Votan and Guard, though.
Yeah, Votan and Guard. They may not look it in the stats, but Guard is doing amazingly. You just have to ignore their win rate. But if they won the second most events this weekend,
Look, guys,
so
just ignore the stats part of stat check and just trust us, the experts, who are strongly, vehemently anti-Guard.
Yep.
We are incredibly biased. Nathan's not an expert. Like, let's not go down that route.
Fuck. Damn. I mean, that's fair, but rude. I'm an expert in a lot of things in this, but 40K is not one. Bryn has a question, which is, are Aquilons the sole problem, or is Guard overall a bit too strong? This seems like it's a lot of Aquilons, but also tank commanders getting the squadron keyword is good.
They didn't get squadron keyword. They got regiment, which is worse.
Regiment.
Because it means they can order themselves.
They can order themselves.
They'd be pretty... sorry, they got squadron, not regiment. Yeah. So
they got squadron, so they can order themselves.
They can order themselves. I hate it. Not a fan. No, I think there is a confluence of factors for Guard. I think the tank commander is good. I think Aquilons are too cheap for what they do. I think the order system is fundamentally very powerful, which makes it very difficult for things. And then things like the Chimera with Catachans inside it is 125 points for 22 OC with Scout. Like, that's pretty brutal. And it also has like a very reasonable amount of firepower for the points. Like, I think the biggest problem is probably like the confluence of every factor. And then just generally, as the game comes down around guard shooting looked better by comparison, which obviously is, a pretty good place to be.
And then there's a question for Eunice from Isaac, which is, how do you play the GSC mirror besides crying in a hole and rolling more 5s?
So there are a lot of things you could do with the GSC mirror. One is to push on the right turn, where ideally you're going to try to push into your opponent when they will be regenerating on 5. So your goal is to try to go into them on the first turn where that's available. If you're going first, that usually means push on your turn 3, and don't go too aggressive. Take the game slow it down, play it nice and chill, or go into them on your 2 and like try not to kill stuff, and then have them kill you and then finish stuff off. Right, you got to be very careful about trying to leave units alive, not getting all the way through activations. Like, there are a lot of things you can do into GSC, like tag their units, don't kill them, right? Kill 4 out of 5 aberrants and avoid the last one. Let him run around. If he wants to score containment, great. There's at least not going to be aberrants coming back, and then kill him on turn 4 or kill him on turn 3 when he's coming back on a 5-up, and you will reduce the risk of impact, right? That's the kind of things you're looking at doing. You can manipulate and manage, but you've got to be clever with it, right? You can't just face tank a GSC army in the mirror match and expect to live. Precision is your friend. GC characters don't love getting precisioned out. They have a difficult time dealing with like the lone ops in the mirror match are really terrible, because things like Calamorphs can't reactive shoot to getting deep struck on. So look for opportunities to try to pick up their lone operatives and focus on killing things that don't have call ambush. If you use your ridge runners better into their ridge runners, you will generally win that matchup as well. And then if you really want to win the mirror match, play Outlander Claw into Biosanctic. You will win it every time, because that matchup is miserable for Biosanctic. Best I got.
And then Innes, what speed do you like your content?
I usually watch on somewhere between 2 and 3 times. I have a plugin added onto my my Google Chrome so that I can watch in 3 times. I can go up to like 2 to 3 times speed. Depends on who I'm watching. Some content creators I'll watch on like 2.5 to 3, and then if there's something that I'm trying to understand as it goes, like I'm watching for things, then like closer to between like 1.5 and 2. And then if I'm watching like a 40K stream, I might watch on like 5 or 6 times speed. To just like get the idea and take notes as I'm going, but I can watch a game in 30 minutes that way, and that's much more valuable to me than hearing the commentary and legible audio.
So I watch everything at 1x speed because I'm like some kind of basic human being, apparently. That's just me, though. I don't know. I don't watch a lot of battle reports, though. I think battle reports are best watched at the fastest speed you can comprehend what's going on at, and that's kind of it.
Yeah, that's fair.
Jeff, the forklift servitor, asks, my sleep paralysis demons are a pair of Brutalis/Death Company dreads shouting at me to let them rip and tear. What kind of points costs do you think they'd be decent/good at?
The Brutalis is like 10 points. Oh, Jesus Christ, what am I here doing? The Brutalis is like 10 points off of being good as it is. I like the regular one. The Death Company one has the real problem that it does not often going to have chaplain support, and it really requires it to have OC. It's like, because it's a trading unit that kind of wants to run independently, it's not going to be near a chaplain. It can't fall back, which is a like relevant, although not like incredible problem. It can sometimes like get in the way of like being able to fall back and then charge back in, for example, or getting fight firsted into, which isn't great. And then it doesn't have OC, so it can't really flip objectives, which means that if you just like don't fully kill something, they pass one too many invulnerable saves, you don't flip the objective, where the regular Brutalis does. I have no idea what's going on in my hair, and I don't know which direction I'm trying to fix it now. I'm like looking at it, I'm like, this isn't a mirror. This is not, I can't do this. So I'm simply not going to.
And I think that's the last 40k.
And the Death Company Dread probably keeps coming at like 20 or so, and it'd be pretty interesting. But yeah, the regular one, it's like 10 points away. I would be interested if it came down 10 and like excited if it came down 15 to 20.
And I think that's it for questions. So we just have one last thing to do. We have my favorite thing. You can fuck with your hair while I pull up the if you join our most expensive of tiers, which is the $15 a month tier, which is the Chris Pie 5 tier, then you get several benefits, most in person, but one of them, which is on the show queue at the end of every episode,
I don't know,
based on a spreadsheet that I'm not going to open because I was very prepared to do this. I liked for everybody. Don't worry about it. Cool. So yes, if you join the $15 a month tier, you can get shouted out at the end of every episode alongside a bunch of in-person benefits, which are mostly Chris Pie 5 related, but the polls will give you a kiss, whatever you want.
No one claimed that at Pyra, so.
See, you all need to claim those personalized benefits.
I mean, there weren't a lot of our patrons at Pyra, I'm not going to lie, but
fair.
This is grim. I'm struggling.
But yes, this is the Cult of the High Five call outs. You also get a personal Discord channel in our Discord where you can like chat, I guess.
No one exercises that. No one exercises it, but you do have
one. You do have one. And you get access to a spreadsheet in which you can edit all these things in order for them to fit what you want. All right.
God, the spreadsheet's brutal every week.
The first one is thank you to Christopher has officially left Scotland for England Irvine. Thank you.
He's not changed that in like a month. Come on, dude. We know you left Scotland.
Yeah, it's true. He might as well be American at this point. He's changing it so late. Willow Weeks, thank you very much. Thank you, Dan F. Thank you, Luke, Dan F. McCarthy. Thank you, David. Victory is achieved through metal. Glory is achieved through metal. Clark. I'm not sure how to say those words differently, so I'm just going to keep on moving with my life. Thank you, BTW. Just a quick break from the list, comma. I must loosen the boxers from my butt crack. Thank you, James H. Thank you, Colton, Dan F. Miller. Thank you, Fungus. Thank you, John V8 Gang. Nathan, play me in TTS, you coward. Downshift. Meow. I'll play you in TTS. That's fine. Just shoot me a DM and we'll figure something out. Thank you, Cam, F. Dan, Morton, Hog emoji. Thank you, Archon Rahal. Fuegan is getting assault now. Yeah, we didn't talk about that. The fact that Fuegan leaked datasheet has assault on all of his weapons and like.
Look, I'm just choosing to believe that their Eldar are getting battle focus back, which is just like the ability to advance and shoot. Like I simply refuse to acknowledge any of this. Like whatever happens with the Eldar Codex will happen. I'm technically an Eldar player, as I do have some sprues in my garage that I will eventually finish. So Eldar can't hurt me. They're not real.
Yep. That is all. Is the rest of Archon Rahal. Thank you, Josiah Gettle. Thank you, Frankie, who has changed it from the Faresh thing with all the different letters.
That changed weeks ago, Nathan. Come on, keep up.
Oh, did it? Damn. Thank you, Isaac. GSC are not even that hard. Don't even need to listen to Innis and Danny. Wait, don't look at my very original list that isn't from Innis 2 weeks ago and 200 yellow. Where's Dorada? Thank you, Pickles. Thank you, Thomas. Found out in round 2 out of 5 he was, in fact, playing with 1,860 points for equation. Fuck. Thank you. I'm taking a secret mission. Can you point out all your battle line for me? Thank you. Frank the Cat is a 15 out of 10. Thank you. Towering Gimmick remains on pause, provided you check out the new podcast, Some Accessibility Required, now available on your favorite podcast platform. Thank you. We're no strangers to love. You know the rules, and so do I. Do I? A full commitment's what I'm thinking of. You wouldn't get this from any other guy. I just want to tell you how I'm feeling. Got to make you understand. Never going to give you up. Never going to let you down. Never going to run around and desert you. Never going to make you cry. Never going to say goodbye. Never going to tell a lie and hurt you. I'm so glad that I got to
You did
rickroll all
significantly
of
more of
you.
that than I was willing to last week.
And then at the bottom, our tabs are currently this space for rent. Why would shooting not cost many points? And Nerf spreadsheet tabs.
Fast
Those
spreadsheet,
are
good.
Yep, fast spreadsheet, good.
Yep. So we dropped off
Those
about
are
30 viewers in the last 3 minutes. So thank you for that, Nathan. I hope everybody's had a great time. I hope everybody enjoyed the show. If you are interested in seeing more from the event teams that Kicker mentioned, whose name I have immediately forgotten because I have no room inside my brain for anything besides 7th edition psychic powers, please do check that out. Please do remember to check all the links in our description. If you're at a tournament this weekend, please do have the very best of luck, unless you're a Battle of Britain, in which case I hope you get run over by a Scottish person. That's all I got. Nathan, do the thing.
Bye-bye. It did end, right?